Hello friends, followers and channel members, welcome back to the channel and another video here in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. In this video today we are going to be revisiting a piece of software which we took a look at some months ago now, and that is SayIntentions. Now for those of you who aren't aware, SayIntentions is an air traffic control program for Microsoft Flight Simulator, but it is highly AI based, using things like ChatGPT to assist in all of the ATC instructions and communications that you get. The amazing thing about this is that none of the ATC comms and answers that it'll give you are scripted. Anything you say to it, it will understand. Anything you ask, it will try to help, and again, will understand. You don't have to communicate using set phrases or keywords in order to make it work. In fact, just the opposite is true. You can speak to it just like I would speak to you, and it will understand you, take on board what you've said, and give you a realistic response. Now, it's going to be difficult to showcase this without making comparisons to Beyond ATC. Beyond ATC, of course, another air traffic control program for Microsoft Flight Simulator that has recently celebrated its release. Months ago, when the two programs were announced, SayIntentions was more geared towards general aviation and VFR, whilst Beyond ATC was focusing primarily on commercial airliner flights and IFR. Well, as time has gone by, both of these products have focused on both VFR and IFR, though which one does which best is a choice remained to be seen. Both do claim to be able to handle all types of traffic, either GA aircraft or big airliner flights into the international airports. So we're going to have a look at SayIntentions today, doing my best not to draw too many comparisons with Beyond ATC, but the big thing that separates the two is the fact that SayIntentions is almost free speech. You can say anything you want to it and it will communicate a response, whereas Beyond ATC is ATC on the rails. You have to hit certain keywords when speaking to it for it to understand what it is you're after. Plus, of course, there are certain things that Beyond ATC can't do yet, things like intersection departures. You can't request certain things, it'll just tell you it doesn't understand. That is not something that SayIntentions will do. That, even if it won't allow you to do what you're asking, will at least give you the correct response. Now, the last time I tried SayIntentions, I tried using a GA flight and it worked incredibly well. But now they claim they also support IFR with some limitations, and that's what we're going to have a little look at today. The other thing as well with Beyond ATC is the voice packs. The voice packs of Beyond ATC sound incredible, particularly the premium voices. We're going to check out the different voices available as well in SayIntentions. Now, this video is not a tutorial on SayIntentions. That, if you want more information about the program itself and setting it up, was showcased in a previous video. Today, we are just going to be looking at some really neat updates that SayIntentions have been pushing over the past few weeks. And whilst we're doing so, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this program. And as I say, I know it's going to be difficult not to compare Beyond ATC with SayIntentions, but if you have tried both programs, then please do let me know in the comments down below what you think of them both. The other thing as well is, remember that SayIntentions does have a free 24-hour trial which you can use, because that is probably the biggest downside of SayIntentions, the cost. It is a monthly subscription and it is about $30 a month. Alright, so in the flight deck we're all set up for our little flight down to London Gatwick, and the first thing as per usual is just to take the ATIS. Now, as you can see, this then is the interface of SayIntentions. The moment you load in, it'll automatically recognize where we are, and of course you can see all of the different frequencies are there as well. We're going to get the ATIS first of all, then we're going to have a little look at some of the other things that we can do to interact with the AI air traffic control. But 12433 first of all is our frequency, so let's see what happens when we tune to that to get Liverpool's ATIS.
Is requested. Read back all runway and hold short instructions. Advise on initial contact you have information uniform.
So it starts halfway through the ATIS, which is realistic.
Liverpool John Lennon Airport information uniform. 1050 Zulu. Wind 150 at 14. Visibility 10. Sky conditions, scattered at 2400 feet. Temperature 16. Dew point 10. QNH 1004. Arriving and departing runway 09er. Visual approaches in use. Advise on course heading, altitude, and if flight following is requested. Read back all runway and hold short instructions. Advise on initial contact you have information uniform.
Okay, so there's a couple of things there which are still rather American, things like the visual approaches in use. Certainly not something that's that often done here in, certainly here in the UK and the rest of Europe. However, we know that the USA really like their visual approaches, and to be fair, a lot of the pilots do as well. But you can just see the ATIS there, slightly more Americanized, I feel, than it would be here in Europe. But I'm sure that is something that will be developed over time. Now, originally when this software first got released, it was tailored purely towards GA and VFR flight. So trying this with an IFR flight is the first time I've done this in a long time. But SayIntentions now is meant to support both IFR and VFR. You can see, however, though, the top issues being worked on currently are IFR arrivals and approaches. They are still in development. So our arrival into London Gatwick in a few moments' time will be interesting to see. But we're going to go through the motions and see how it works. So the first thing, of course, then is we're going to contact the ground 121955. We'll do that, and we'll check out the AI as we just speak to it, and yeah, we'll see how it does, complete with the voices as well. Liverpool ground, good afternoon, Easy 34 Alpha Mike, type A320 with information Zulu, requesting IFR clearance as filed to Gatwick.
Easy 34 Alpha Mike, Liverpool ground information uniform is correct. Cleared to Gatwick via the NAT2V departure then as filed. Climb and maintain 4,000 feet. Departure on 119.855 squawk 2541.
Cleared via the NAT2 Victor departure that is filed. Climb altitude 4,000 and squawk 2541 for Easy 34 Alpha Mike. Now, just like in Beyond ATC, if you are doing an IFR flight, you can input your SimBrief user ID so that it has all the information it needs for your flight.
34 Alpha Mike, readback correct. Expect runway 9er. Report ready for push and start.
We'll report ready, and do you know if there are any traffic delays today? So, just wanted to ask it a little question, something which is a bit out of the ordinary, to see if it gave us a response or told us it didn't understand. It should understand everything, so...
34 Alpha Mike, no reported delays. Report when ready.
Thank you, 34 Alpha Mike. So we're at Liverpool Airport today, and I've chosen this airport in particular because I don't have any payware scenery for Liverpool installed. This is just the default Azobo one, which, whilst it is handcrafted, doesn't have all of the taxiways, their names and everything sort of integrated into the airport scenery correctly. Whilst the signage may be correct, it means that it's not all perfectly done in the background. Now, this is where programs like Beyond ATC struggle, because if the scenery hasn't been created perfectly with all of that information included, it means that any air traffic control add-on software can't read the files properly and give you good detailed taxi instructions. One of the things that SayIntentions has done, though, is they have actually synced up with Navigraph, and that was only announced a few days ago, meaning that they are now getting their data from Navigraph rather than the airport scenery files installed into your simulator. Now, as I understand it, that is not yet available data for every airport in the world, but it does include hundreds of the world's biggest and most popular airports. So if you're flying into some of the bigger places, then SayIntentions air traffic control should give you accurate taxiway instructions. I don't have a full list of those that are available. Liverpool is, whilst a popular airport here in the UK, might not have made it onto that list, so we'll find out together if we get the taxiway instructions perfectly synced up as they would be in real life. One of the things that SayIntentions have done, though, is they have released an airport editor, meaning that users will be able to customize airports that they fly into regularly that may not have all the perfect data available, so that you will get accurate taxiway instructions. So when we request for our taxi in a moment, I'm expecting it to be able to give us accurate taxiway information as based on the official charts. And then what I'm also going to do is it'll probably give us a taxi via Charlie for a full length departure. What I'm going to do, I've done my calculations, and we're going to ask for an intersection departure delta to see if we can request that and get the AI air traffic control to recognize it. Again, at the moment, intersection departures and requests like that are not something that you can do with canned air traffic control programs, but this is where the interactiveness of SayIntentions is really meant to come into its own. So let's I think we're all ready to go. Let's contact ground and see if we can get our pushback started. Liverpool ground, easy 34 Alpha Mike, stand 33 with information Zulu, ready to push and start.
34 Alpha Mike, push and start approved. Face west, expect Rouen for departure. Contact tower on 126.355 when ready for departure.
So probably not quite realistic in that it's telling us straight away to contact the tower when we're ready for departure. We haven't got a taxi clearance yet. Obviously the ground would normally tell us where to go. So I will push back and then ask it where would it like us to taxi, and see what taxiway instructions it gives us. Liverpool ground, easy 34 Alpha Mike is ready for taxi.
34 Alpha Mike taxi to holding point runway via Alpha and Bravo. Contact tower on 126.355 when ready for departure.
Taxi to holding point via Alpha and Bravo. And can we take intersection Delta today?
34 Alpha Mike taxi to holding point runway via Delta. Contact tower on 126.355 when ready for departure.
126.355 when ready, easy 34 Alpha Mike. Alright, so the initial instruction it gave us was Alpha and Bravo. Now, I'm not entirely sure where Bravo is at Liverpool. Assuming it's not at the other end, which no, it's not. So where Bravo is, no idea. But we did ask it to give us an intersection Delta departure, which it has said that we could do and recognise that as well. So we will make the taxi and then we'll contact tower and see what happens. Now you can obviously see we've got other aircraft around us on the apron. This is FSLTL traffic. There's a little aircraft just pulled out in front of us, and at the moment SayIntentions will not be able to interact with it. In fact, we're just going to run it over. There we go. So what SayIntentions will do in the future, again much like Beyond ATC, is they are working on their own traffic injector. However, at the moment, what SayIntentions will do is it will tell you about other traffic in the air. So it can read other traffic's directions, altitude, what kind of aircraft it is, and tell you about them. And all they will do is usually just say there's traffic at your 10 o'clock or wherever, so that you'll be able to respond with the traffic in sight or traffic not in sight. Again, this is something that you usually get more in the USA than you do here in Europe, but just wanted to clarify the current position of SayIntentions with regards AI traffic. Okay, so I'm just pulling up to the holding point intersection Delta as we wanted. What I am going to do now is I'm going to tell the tower, after it's told us that we're ready to take off, that we just need a minute or so just to see how it responds. Let's say we were doing a single engine taxi and we got it wrong, and we just needed to wait for the engines to run for 3 minutes. So let's flick over to the tower frequency 126.355 and give them a shout. Liverpool Tower, good afternoon, easy 34 Alpha Mike, holding point Delta.
34 Alpha Mike, winds 140 at 26 runway, 9 are cleared for takeoff.
Clear to take off runway 09 at easy 34 Alpha Mike.
34 Alpha Mike, contact departure on 119.855.
119.855 for easy 34 Alpha Mike. Bye bye. Departure easy 34 Alpha Mike, passing 3,900 for 4,000 on the Nant 2 Victor.
Easy 34 Alpha Mike, Liverpool approach identified. Climb and maintain flight level 100.
Climb flight level 100 for easy 34 Alpha Mike. Okay, so now we're airborne, it's a good chance to check out how interactive the AI air traffic control is. So let's just pretend that perhaps we've got some build-up, some thick cumulonimbus clouds that I don't particularly want to fly through. Let's see if we can just...
34 Alpha Mike, contact Scottish Control on 128.055.
We'll ask the next control if we can deviate around the fake clouds. 128.055 for easy 34 Alpha Mike. Bye-bye. So actually, that's a frequency we've just been on, so it's handing us back to that. So maybe some slight issues there with the ATC boundaries, but we'll work with it. Scottish Control, good afternoon, easy 34 Alpha Mike. Back with you, passing flight level 165 for flight level 190.
Easy 34 Alpha Mike, Scottish Control, good afternoon.
And easy 34 Alpha Mike, we've got some weather up ahead, wondering if we can deviate around that, maybe perhaps to the right.
34 Alpha Mike, deviation to the right by 20 degrees, approved to avoid weather.
Roger, and we'll report back on course, easy 34 Alpha Mike. Now, because this is interactive air traffic control based on ChatGPT, so you can speak to it as though you were just, you know, a normal person. You don't have to follow any sort of script to hit specific words or things for it to be able to recognize the next stage of the instruction that it has to give you. You can literally ask it pretty much anything. For instance, let's say we were flying and we got a passenger who was feeling a little bit unwell and we required medical services when we reached the gate in Gatwick. Let's see if we can try and get that arranged. Ordinarily, this would be something that would perhaps be done speaking to the airline ground crew, which you'd send messages to, of course. But let's see if AI can assist with that. And Control easy 34 Alpha Mike, we've got a slight medical emergency up here. Just wondering if we can have medical assistance to meet us at the gate in Gatwick.
Alpha Mike, medical assistance will be arranged to meet you at the gate in Gatwick. Confirm you require priority handling.
If you could get us in as soon as you can, that would be great. Easy 34 Alpha Mike. Okay, so let's say we've now gone around all that weather. We're going to go back on course. Let's see if we can ask for a direct to Kidley. Easy 34 Alpha Mike is clear of the weather and request direct Kilo India Delta Lima India.
34 Alpha Mike, direct Kidley approved.
That was really nice that it actually recognised it after I'd spelt it out. Going direct to Kidley now, thank you. Easy 34 Alpha Mike.
34 Alpha Mike, alright, switch over to London Control on 130.9025 when you can, thanks.
Over to London 130.925, thank you. Easy 34 Alpha Mike. Now, hopefully you heard as well with that. One of the other things that SayIntentions has brought into its air traffic control over the last couple of months is the imperfect responses that it gives. You'll have heard the controller there just hesitate a little bit as it said switch over to and then while he sort of thought and got the frequency for us. That's obviously not something you're going to get with scripted responses, so they're trying to make it sound as human as possible by essentially not being perfect, and that's what we just heard there, which I quite like. It's a nice touch. Gives you less of a feeling that you're speaking to a computer. Anyway, let's contact the controller in question, 130.925. and London Control, Easy 34 Alpha Mike are working as a single pilot. Just wondering if it's possible for you to give us the weather for Gatwick, please.
34 Alpha Mike Gatwick weather wind 160 at 8 knots, varying between 120 and 190 degrees visibility, greater than 10 kilometer showers in the vicinity. Broken clouds at 1000 temperature 14 dew, 0.13 QNH 1008.
That's great, many thanks, Easy 34 Alpha Mike. So we're still at flight level 190 and I've got 100 miles or so to run. Let's see what the ATC does. Remember, I'm not going to request descent, I'm going to see if ATC can sort that for us. Now, we know that they are still working on the approaches. That is one of their top priorities at the moment. If it starts looking like it's not going to work, perhaps by the time we get to Willow, which is a waypoint just south of Gatwick,
34 Alpha Mike, contact London info on 124.6.
then I will request descent.
Easy 34 Alpha Mike, London info, descend and maintain flight level 130.
Descend, maintain flight level 130, Easy 34 Alpha Mike. So we have been left a little bit high, but we're still quite a way away and not very high to begin with. At least they have given us the descent and I've not had to ask for it, which is a huge plus in my book. Does mean though, in order to get down, we're going to go open descent, wind that speed up, and hopefully we shouldn't now really have much of an issue. It will be interesting to see what happens with the approach into Gatwick though, because like a lot of approaches here in the UK, this star doesn't take us straight onto the ILS. They are going to have to give us some vectors and a heading to fly in order to intercept that ILS in a few minutes. Now, if you're familiar with the approach into Gatwick, Willow is the final fix. You're not allowed to pass Willow until ATC have given you clearance. Willow is one of the main holding fixes into Gatwick, so if they're busy, you can often expect to hold there for a few minutes. So let's test out again how interactive SayIntentions air traffic controllers are. Easy 34 Alpha Mike, can we expect a hold at Willow?
34 Alpha Mike, negative, no holding expected at Willow.
Thank you, Easy 34 Alpha Mike. And it's little things like that, being able to just request things which you wouldn't be able to do again with pre-scripted ATC. That kind of thing is where it just adds a little bit more immersion compared to other software which is available.
34 Alpha Mike, proceed direct CF26L. Descend and maintain 2000 until established on the localizer. Cleared for the ILS runway 26 left approach.
Oh wow, okay, so that's quite an early approach, particularly from where we are. You can see actually intercepting that from where we are in this current position is going to make for a very difficult left-hand turn. However, let's see what happens. So proceed direct, the centre fix 26 left, descend maintain 2000 till established, and we're cleared ILS runway 26 left for Easy 34 Alpha Mike. Now this is where the hard work begins for the programmers, because getting the vectors correct is one of the most challenging things to do. We saw this as well from the Beyond ATC team. It's easy to get the ATC to give you a direct to that centre fix, but you'd never be given that in real life. You'd always be told a heading or track to fly to intercept that ILS, rather than just being given the instruction to fly direct to that centre fix. This is something though that SayIntentions developers are still working on, and they speak about this as well on their Discord server and also highlight it as well on the main screen of the program.
34 Alpha Mike, winds 170 at 21, runway 26 left, cleared to land.
Now, of course, many of you, I'm sure, will also want to hear what different voices from around the world sound like. We have been spoiled recently with Beyond ATC and their premium voices. Now, remember, this is a payware product and quite an expensive one at that, so you would expect to have good quality voices from around the world. First, let's head to Italy and see what the Italian controllers sound like in Palermo. Ground Easy 34 Alpha Mike is ready to push and start.
Easy 34 Alpha Mike Palermo approach push and start approved.
So there is some exotic twang there. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought of that voice. Next, we're in Delhi to check out an Indian air traffic controller voice.
FedEx 123 Delhi clearance cleared to Stansted via the Orot 6C departure. Then, as filed. Departure runway 29er right. Initial climb to 10,000 feet. Departure on 124.6, squawk 4326.
I actually thought that was rather good. There wasn't much in the way though of VHF degradation there. It sounded like the guy was literally stood next to me in the flight deck. So nothing wrong with the Indian voices, that was pretty good by my book. However, the SayIntentions voice packages aren't 100% perfect yet. We're in Lisbon at the moment, and this was the ATC voice I got.
Easy 34 Alpha Mike, Lisbon ground. Good afternoon, information Tango is current. Clear to London Gatwick via the IFR at 5N departure, then as filed. Climb and maintain 7,000 feet. Departure on 125.13 squawk 3244.
Now, the one thing I will say for SayIntentions is that the developer behind it is incredibly active and pushing updates almost daily. New voice packs, regional packs, even updates for boundaries and VHF frequencies. All of that is being updated on a almost daily basis. The program now also covers oceanic coverage as well. I've not had a chance to test it out, but if you have, then again, please leave a comment down below. Let me know how that works. They've also introduced an Active Sky inclusion for this, so if you have an Active Sky account, then the SayIntentions ATIS will actually read the METAR from Active Sky to ensure that you're getting the correct information. This is great, particularly if you're working with historical weather. Now, of course, the real downside of SayIntentions is the expensive price tag. $30 a month is a lot of money, and it's not a cost that has been dictated by the developers for the consumers. It is just the cost of the technology. Every time you press the push to talk button, it's costing money, and the amount of computing power and all of the servers that go into this GPT experience to get that realistic air traffic control back to you, process everything that it said and come up with a response, etc. That's just the nature of the technology at the moment. It is expensive. It is very impressive, but it is expensive. Of course, like everything, the price of this will come down, and the developers have promised that this price will never go up, but it will come down as things start to become cheaper with new technologies. So there we go, a bit of an in-depth look at the latest features on SayIntentions. Thank you so much as well if you have watched this whole video. I know it has been a longer one than normal, so thank you for sticking with me. If you have enjoyed this video, then please do hit the like button, and of course if you're not already a subscriber, then please do hit the subscribe button as well, and turning on the notifications bell so you don't miss any future videos, and of course our live streamed flights. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you all again in the next one. Bye bye for now.